I told y'all at the beginning of the year, this Nine of Hearts year, people on the same team are going to be fighting. I told y'all at the beginning of the year.
I got myself doubling.
This
Hold on.
Hey,
Rocky,
year,
hold on. There we go.
had myself doubling. Anyway, Nine of Hearts year. We said last December 2025 was about people on the same team going at it. I didn't know who was going to go at it. Didn't know what was going to happen. But what's been happening all year? People on the same team have been going at it. And it's been fun observing it happen, with on the Coon side, Stephen A. Smith, that Jason Whitlock. That's been fun to watch. It's been fun watching it on the Republican side, majority going at it with Trump, and Trump going at it with Elon Musk. All year, we've been watching teams fight. And it's been fun because it hasn't been our team. Now, within what people call foundational Black America, people who are that, not quote unquote tethers or quote unquote foreign born, but people born here are going at it. And this is why I've always been on either we on the same side or you not. There are disruptors from within and from without. And for me personally, I can't speak for everybody else. It hits home because I got giant respect for both brothers, Tariq and brother James Smalls. Captain Cesaria, I'll get to him and the Hebrew Israelite stuff. I've never really paid attention to him outside of Soundnetter videos every now and again. And I stopped watching Soundnetter years ago. Too much goddamn arguing. But James Smalls is somebody I have a lot of respect for. I've interviewed him on this channel before. I met him at the rally for reparations a few years ago. And he said some unfortunate things from him. But again, he just gave his opinion on what FBA is. And now Tariq responded. And Tariq had a great response. Jason Black had a good program on it. I listened to a little bit of Black Alpha's Twitter space on it. And so I just wanted to give my point of view. I'm not going to jump into who said what. I encourage you, if you want to really break it down, listen to James Smalls' interview directly and listen to Tariq's response last night directly. He has it up on his channel. I can't speak for Tariq better than Tariq can speak for himself. And I got a lot of love and respect for Tariq, I host, for those of you who know, I host Tariq's comedy show. I host and book it every, we have another one coming up December 20th. The flyer hasn't been put out yet, but we're going to have Faison Love, the homegirl Kanisha Buss, Buddy Lewis, Antoine Young, and K-Dot. And then January or whatever the show after that, I got some real heavy hitters lined up for that show too. So I do business with Tariq, and you guys know that. But for full disclosure, me and Tariq don't talk outside the business. Tariq has his world, I got my own world. That's what makes it for me easy to work with him. And I think for a lot of people, what makes it tough for them to work with him. Tariq's his own man in his own world. A lot of y'all be hitting me up. Hey, Dewan, you should tell Tariq. Man, I ain't telling Tariq shit. Tariq got his own. I ain't building no fucking museum. What the hell can I tell him? You dig? So I don't get involved in Tariq's business. We don't be having no backdoor conversations about what's going on with the FBA. At most, Tariq hit me up. Okay, the next show is whatever date. And that's all he got to tell me. And I'm on it. I hit him back with a lineup. We do a show. Tariq's his own man. And a lot of people who don't like him, what I don't respect about y'all is you'll go around people who are around Tariq and you want to throw shots at Tariq vicariously through me or anybody you think is associated with them. You niggas need to grow a dick, because I don't participate in none of that shit. I got my own world. I got my own world with my own shit. You dig? So I respect both brothers, and so I will have a respectful conversation about the fallout from this. What can we expect moving forward? I'm going to take some of you guys' comments, and at some point, probably within the next 30, 45 minutes of this video, I'm going to pause for like 5 minutes and help my wife bring these groceries upstairs. You dig what I'm saying? Because she out shopping, because she knows how to throw down for Thanksgiving. So at some point, if I don't end this video in time, husband duties will make us take a break for about 5 minutes. Just letting y'all know for whenever that point comes. You dig? But with that being said, welcome chat room. What's up, Butter Love, Ben, Stuns? Appreciate all y'all for joining. I can't get to everybody. Bruce, C. Diggs, Zafar, appreciate all y'all for joining. All right. So we're about to break it down. If y'all want somebody to come in, let me see. Oh yeah, I saw that Top Cats live. When Sarnetta found out, that was the last time I actually watched Sarnetta. Because Sarnetta is a Pan African. Let's give first. I want to give respect to Sarnetta, because his videos of Khalid Muhammad back in the '90s is what really got me into this. And you know, the debate videos when he was on in New York back in 2012, that shit was just, it started out as just funny. And then from there, I got to find out who Kaba Kamene was, James Smalls, you know, and that whole world. So salute to Sarnetta. But yeah, he a Pan-African. But then he found out that his own goddamn family was Indian, and it made him change his whole point of view. So, but let's get into it. Let's start from the beginning, and for those of you who don't know what's going on, I'm gonna catch you guys up as to what's going on, and then we're gonna give our point of view on it. Mr. James Smalls, legendary orator, professor. I've personally, over the last 15 years, have learned a lot from him from afar through YouTube lectures and interviews. He's a staple in Tariq's Hidden Color series. He's always been a standout in all of Tariq's documentaries, by the way. He's been a standout. He's somebody that I see a lot of the reaction from people I see a lot of emotional reaction from people, and I get it, because people really love James Smalls, and there's no denying what he's taught us and what he's given us. And it was upon advice like Mr. James Smalls for us to do our research and learn. The thing is, through us doing our research and learning, a lot of us, like me, and a lot of you guys out there, start research and learning your own history. I personally got to it not necessarily through Tariq, but through my wife. My wife would always talk to me 2012, 13, DeJuan, you know history, you know all this history stuff, but do you know your own family history? And I was like, nah, I don't know, Mom. My mom's mom died when she was 2 months old. You know, my mom's dad died when she was 9 years old. So personally, I was like, they dipped out on my mama when she was a baby. I don't want to learn about them niggas. That's what I would say this time, 2010. But it was my wife that really got me into like, no, you still need to reach out and find out who your ancestors are and find out, you know, where you go. And I started looking up the family tree. You dig what I'm saying? I started looking up the family tree like a lot of you guys did. Let me pull this book out. Oh, shit. We still here? I just had a heavy book fall on something. Oh, we still here? Internet still connected? Because that book fell right and it snatched. We good? We still here? We still here? Making sure my modem almost fell. But doing my family history research, I came across this book that was written by a cousin that I never met, but it was written back in the 90s. And it traced my family lineage back to 1640 here in the United States of America. And I got to find out about my family that was a free black family from Virginia that moved to Indiana and then Benton Harbor, Michigan before they came to LA. And so doing stuff like I'm coming up on discoveries like this, right as Tariq is talking about delineation in FBA, Yvette Carnell's talking about ADOS, when all that stuff was going on. And it was just like it put a thing in my mind, like, yo, we really do go back here. So when Tariq came up with the FBA designation, he made it very clear that he was taking what Dr. Claude Anderson told us to do when Dr. Claude Anderson came up with the Native Black American Identity, NBA. But Tariq was very clear when he said that, that NBA can be confused with basketball or Native American. So he changed the word to foundational, but he was always very clear about getting the inspiration from Dr. Claude Anderson. That's the lineage. I'm just giving you guys a history of the lineage of how a lot of us got here to FBA. Because there's a lot of misnomers out there. And Dr. James Small said some things in his interview that kind of rubbed me the wrong way when he said they don't know their history. They don't know their history. And in my mind, I can't speak for they, whatever they. I'm sure he has people in his mind he was thinking about when he said they. But I know my history. And a major reason why I know my history is because of people like Dr. James Smalls teaching it to us, and then me going further. Dr. James Smalls referencing a book, and then me buying that book, and then going into the bibliography of that book to find more books to get more information. So how I got here to this designation was through research, and through talking to my ancestors. So what Tariq hit up on something that a lot of us were sort of coming to anyway. We were kind of we were already starting to walk down that street, and Tariq did a great job of codifying it. And then when Tariq was a great messenger of what it is. Now Tariq rubs a lot of people the wrong way because of his unapologetic stance and his ability to clown people who come back at him. And to me, look, you feel about that however you feel about it. This is my culture, and to me, clowning has never been a thing. I come from a lineage of grandparents and aunts and uncles that clown their way to making good points to you. My grandfather taught me a lot of life lessons after calling me a fat motherfucker. So I can take some talks and shit if there's some game to go with it. But I understand everybody's not like that. So Tariq basically put words to what a lot of us were feeling. And from there, it took off. People started finding their own history. I started going more deeper in, because to me, I've always studied music history, but I will tell you what Tariq did, some of the inspiration, because I don't have an ego like that. I don't mind giving up credit to other people. A lot of these niggas out here want to act like they're the end all be all of knowledge. I'm not that nigga. But when Tariq did come up with the FBA, and I saw like Busta Rhymes say Black Americans have no culture, and I heard them say hip hop came from Jamaica, it made me put together this tree right here. Because this is something I've been researching my whole life anyway. But my whole life, I was always, okay, African American, African American, African American. I'm Pan African, Pan African. And I had been understanding a lot of our music knowledge. And you hear me say, it comes from Africa, comes from Africa, comes from Africa. And then one day I decided, okay, I asked one simple question. What comes from Africa in our music that we play today? And that sent me on years of study. And the deeper I researched, the more my research brought me back here to America. like Mr. James Small says, do your research, do your research, do your research. My research was the intention of finding out I wanted to get strong connections, not just pop, not just African rhythms, not just African drums. My research started out with an intention to draw firmer connections to Africa outside of just polyrhythms and drums. And the more I did my research, the more the research brought me right back here to America. And so not only was I on the FBA thing in my mind with my family, now with my music, I'm on it because I'm really doing the research now and I'm not finding nothing hardcore. I'm finding more hardcore connections to Europe than I am Africa. And I did not like that. But you follow the research. So now you have Mr. Smalls, who I have a lot of respect for. For those of you who don't know, he said things in the interview. And I'm not going to play it. That's because I encourage you to go back and watch, Tariq's broadcast. I seen Afro Elite did one year. I didn't get to check on his, but I know Afro Elite did a masterful job. I listened to a little bit of Black Alpha, but where I really heard this was I gotta give credit to was Sincere Love the God and Nicety Girl. They're the ones on their podcast that they do. They're the ones who originally broke this story. At least the first ones I saw break this story. So I want you to go back to. They did a 2-part on the Godcast, Sincere Love the God and Nicety Girl. Please go check out their stuff for greater detail and watch these videos all the way through so you can form your own opinion. I ain't trying to tell none of you niggas how to think, all right? Get it? So that was the background to how we got here. And when Mr. Small says something like that, when I start hearing the words CIA and op thrown around, that's when I tap out. You know what I mean? I don't know about none of that. I don't get it. Look, I'm reading a book right now called Chaos. I just finished reading this book called Weird Scenes Inside the Canyon. But the book I'm reading right now called Chaos is breaking down COINTELPRO. It's also breaking down Operation Chaos that was hitting the white community. They released that chaos on the white folks and COINTELPRO on us. And I know that stuff is prevalent. But that's not, still with that being said, I'm not one to really throw those words around. And for Brother Smalls to throw that word out there, his word carries a lot of weight. I have to acknowledge that it does. His word carries weight. And I thought that was unfair a little bit because I don't work with no goddamn CIA and none of them niggas. You know how many fucking how many hustles I have to make this shit work? Man, I got to run 4 companies, and I just took on a new apartment building to manage in the Mert Park, a 10-unit. I'm a hustling ass nigga. Ain't nobody over here talking to no goddamn government. Tariq put out a notion that a lot of us were kind of already on, and he made it make sense. And he ain't nobody's fucking leader. He's his own man, like I'm my own man, like a lot of y'all are your own women. And I just thought that wasn't cool. But Mr. Smalls has his reasons for doing what he do, I guess. You know what I mean? Look, I'm out of it. I'm not about to defend Tariq. I'm not about to defend Mr. Smalls. Tariq did a damn good job defending himself on and I just I didn't finish. I got up to like the last like 20 minutes of it. And then at the same time this is going on, there's this brother named Captain Tazariot, Hebrew Israelite from the Sinetta page. He's calling FBA some other stuff because of the way he framed that T.S. Giselle person that used to be in Twitter Spaces. I'm gonna say personally, every time I used to listen, I stopped going to Twitter Spaces probably like 2 years ago. But back when I did go in those, every time that T.S. Giselle person came up and got on the mic, I'd be out. That person was a weirdo. But Captain Tazariot tried to use that to frame as FBA has a trans person speaking up for him. And I'm thinking like, it's that whole situation. They keep trying to pin everything down into a leader, into an organization. And from what I observe, I'm a black American. You can call me FBA. You can call me, don't call me African American. I'm cool with being called Freedman. I'm cool with Solon. I'm cool with, even though I'm not cool with Yvette Carnell and her kid and play looking ass, ADOS is still cool because overall the mission is to identify you with this land. You know what I mean? So I see and respect all of the names, and because I believe in being able to be called multiple names, but I don't agree with something is an organization when it's clearly not. I'm somebody who when I saw my parents went back to my lineage went back to 1640 on this land, and along the way, my lineage married Potawatomi along the way. In Michigan, they were Powhatan along the way in Virginia. They were Cherokee along the way in East Texas. They were Creek along the way in Alabama. I asked myself one simple question. What's more powerful? A distant ancestor that I don't know their names, I don't know what religions they practice, what music they listen to, what food they ate, what plot of land they lived on, or the more immediate ancestors, my grandmama who I met, who I love so dear. I still love my grandmama. What's more powerful, reaching out to my grandmama or an ancestor that may or may not have existed 1,000 years ago? What's more? I ask myself logical questions. What's more logical, reaching out to my grandmama's grandmama who she knew, who by extension know me, and tapping into the music? I know what music she listened to. I know what food she ate. I know my grandmama was born in Tulsa, Oklahoma in 1930. And Mr. Foster, her father, was born in 1899 in Texas, East Texas. Who's the more powerful ancestor for me? Here's the logical questions that I ask. Is it the ones that suffered on this land? Who can I draw the most energy and power from? My grandmama's people or people I may or may not know in Africa? That probably weren't, they could have been from Africa. Hell, they could have been from Australia for all the fuck I know. People move all across this planet. I don't know. I do know for a fact the lineage that I've had here since 1640. I can name their names. I can tell you my great great granddaddy from Paw Paw, Michigan was a stonemason, and his brother, his brother Adelbert Blair was the first Black American. Not Blair. I said Blair, not Blair. Roberts. Adelbert Roberts was the first Black American state senator for the state of Illinois. I know that was my great. I know that. I know that their father was a barber, born in 1849. I know my ancestor, Mr. Johnson, Mr. Kendrick Johnson, born in 1832 in Louisville, Kentucky, that as a free man that fought in the Civil War, left the Civil War, moved to Milwaukee, Wisconsin, and married a German woman in 1866. Had my great great grandmother in 1868, and her mother died in 1870. I do know them. So when I hear people like say we don't know what we talking about and trying to make Tariq a leader, Tariq ain't a leader in my damn lineage. And he says so. All he did was say, look in this direction, and people did. And when we looked in that direction, it was like, yo, I got a whole fucking book on my family. Ain't none of these niggas African. So I made the executive decision in my life that my more immediate ancestors probably are going to give me more energy and understand what I'm going through on this land than ancestors who never came to get me. If I came from that land or not. If I did come from Africa, whatever African ancestors I had, they didn't do shit about coming here. So let me focus on the ones that was stuck over here. That's no shade on Africa. That's an executive decision to talk about my people. And then so Captain Tazariot, let me play what Captain Tazariot said. I'm gonna play what he said because this was like, and I got this from Salute to O'Shea Duke Jackson. I'll be watching his page, and O'Shea Duke Jackson's page is what got me to see about this. Also, go to my Patreon. This coming Sunday is our next class, the Black American the History of R&B, class number 4. We got some reading shows over on Patreon. We got some music shows over there that we done did. So go on over to Patreon right now, patreon.com/DeJuan and I will be putting some Black Friday sales on my merch this week. So check out for DeJuanB.com. But this here was Captain Azaria. And again, I don't really know him like that to like him or dislike him. I just know that he was on Sinetta, and I like Sinetta's channel. But listen, this stuff he was saying right here was kind of weird.
And basically, he would say this.
Hey, man, I'm going to be real brief, man, and maybe I'll put the video up. Tariq Nasheed is apparently subliminally talking about me because he's too to say my name directly. So I'm the person that he's trying to call COINTELPRO XYZ because I text and asked him if a man pretending to be a woman that's calling himself the queen of the FBA was something that they represented. And then he gets mad at me for asking him, and I'm only asking him because he's the quote-unquote head, especially on Twitter Spaces. So I figure I go to the source because we had a relationship.
Right there, see, I wouldn't answer that silly-ass question either. Because you can't say quote-unquote head when somebody always quote-unquote said they're not the head. He always says that. I don't even go into Twitter space like that. I might catch a Tariq Twitter space now once every 2 or 3 months. I just don't really do it. And then now he's on TikTok. I don't really know how to work TikTok like that. I've been saying I'm going to go on TikTok and talk music for a year now. And I still ain't done it. I just put up clips over on TikTok. And they do really well. I need to be over on TikTok. But I don't really know TikTok like that. And I'm busy as fuck. So I don't be knowing what the hell Tariq talking about like that. But I know I've heard him well enough to know that he done said he ain't no goddamn leader. Probably 100% of the time I've heard him talk, he said he ain't no leader. And then when you start talking about, I know you're talking about that T.S. Giselle person. Me personally, that T.S. Giselle person was a weirdo. Back when I did go, I don't know if T.S. Giselle still comes around or not, but again, because I don't really be in Twitter space. But before 2 years ago, I was in those Twitter spaces almost every day. And that T.S. Giselle person was a goddamn weirdo. But I wasn't stupid enough to think that person was obviously a troll. That person obviously wanted attention. And it was one of the situations where it's like, they can say whatever the fuck they want to say. Why are you coming to me? That would be my, like, if I was Tariq, that would be what I would be asking. Like, why are you coming to me? If this is a lineage of people gonna say whatever the fuck they want to say. You can't be out there telling everybody, no, you can't say that. No, you can't say that.
And instead of him respecting it, he calls me agent, talks about me subliminally. That don't really matter. What's diabolical, though, is that straight men who's supposed to be about foundational black people would allow a gay man to represent himself as the queen of your so-called movement. What's worse, asking if it's true or letting some gay man troll you to being that?
Asking if it's true is worse because it's a stupid ass question. Don't nobody go around when you talk about a lineage of people, you can't. If people gonna say what the hell they want to say, and I come from the school of, if you dumb enough to believe it, then roll with it. That's my point of view on anything. When it comes to somebody that's outside, like FBA is a lineage of people. It's gonna be midgets saying that they the leader. It's gonna be criminals saying that they the leader. It's gonna be gays saying that they the leader. It's gonna be all kind of people saying all kind of shit. The fuck I look like going arguing with everybody? But that's the issue. I know, no, and no disrespect to the Hebrew Israelites out there. I got nothing but love for y'all. But I got a rule. I got a rule in life. Don't argue with women and don't argue with a Hebrew Israelite. You won't win either one. No matter what good points you make, them motherfuckers is going to have something else for your ass. Just leave it the fuck alone. I made a mistake. It's probably like 3 or 4 years ago. The Hebrew Israelites are down the street, and I'm sitting. I'm here chilling, and I hear somebody on a megaphone. Read, and God said in Deuteronomy 2:15 that, and I'm like, oh, what's the fuck? So I walk down there, and I pull my camera out, and I'm like, oh shit, the Hebrew Israelites are here. And then they saw me recording because I was just talking shit. You know, I be talking shit, just having a good time. And they're like, hey, brother. I'm like, oh shit, they talking to me. Let me walk away. Brother. So I turn around like, what's up? Nah, brother. We see you over there. You need to get some of this knowledge, brother. Read. And then the brother said, in Numbers 7:52, the Lord said die. And I'm like, oh shit. I was like, nah, bro, I don't want the fade, man. Nah, brother, you need to hear this. Read. Ah! And I was on a podcast like last year in Seattle where the Hebrew Israelites was on. And I was just asking them questions about, how do you know? And I should still do a review of that podcast I did, but you don't argue with no Hebrew Israelite. All right. If they don't have the answer, it's a nigga sitting right next to them with a Bible that's going to read, and that nigga gonna have the answer. So you don't do that. You just don't do that. But you saw Captain Tazariot
with the hashtag F.
You saw him for the most part trolling.
A 4-year troll. Thursday, I find out that this is a 4-year troll. So now, and this is the confusing part. So y'all telling me for 4 years, this is a troll? For 4 years. I think that these out a gay man.
You know what that sounds like to me? Somebody picking for straws. What are we gonna do? What is Tariq gonna do, Captain Cesariat? Send a lynch mob to go get the person? The fuck you gonna do in a free world? If somebody gonna troll, they gonna troll. The fuck you gonna do about it? Beat them up? That's stupid. And then they don't want a settlement against your ass, and they still trolling. That's I couldn't take that argument serious. You know what I mean, when he was talking like that. So, but y'all go to O'Shea Duke Jackson's page. He did a good job. He's been doing a good job following that story. Y'all go to his page and for updates on that story. He's posted a few videos on that. But it's one of those situations where it's like, as a Hebrew Israelite, one thing I respect about the Hebrew Israelites is they don't be out there begging for money. They have their own organization. They seem to take care of their people really well. I don't know the ins and outs of what they do, but you know what I mean? They tend to clean people up. So I got respect for the organization. But if you're in that organization, you're the last motherfucker that you be talking about anybody in any organization, all right? Or what you perceive as an organization. This like you don't want people talking about your organization. Leave them alone, because I know that y'all be very sensitive when people talk about y'all. And my always be like, Christians. I be talking shit about Christians. Be getting it from everybody, but then you get these other people. I'm not. I don't identify myself. I don't go to church like that like I did. So I don't. I don't have a religion, but I know that Christians get it hard. They get it the most from all these people. They can take it. So you a Hebrew Israelite, you and them other groups, y'all can take a little bit of jokes too. You know what I mean? Y'all don't take too kindly people talking about y'all. So just chill on talking about what other people are doing, because you causing confusion. And one area I do agree with Tariq on, and I've even said it even before a lot of people were saying it, that we as Black Americans, we have to treat everybody the same. It's time that we give everybody equal treatment. See, we're very hard on ourselves. Black American to Black American, we be talking shit. If a person got big teeth, gap teeth, you gonna talk about them. You're gonna be like, hey yo, come on over here, Michael Strahan. You're gonna talk shit. We don't give each other no breaks as Black Americans. You got somebody with a big ass forehead, we gonna talk about you. What's up, forehead? Get on over here with your big ass forehead and beady eyes. That's just how we get down. But when other groups come around, we tend to be nice. We tend to not, be as harsh on them. If you're a Black American and you're a singer, you better sound like Whitney Houston or you suck. But we'll allow a reggae singer to come over and crack every goddamn note and be like, oh yeah, that's dope. We don't really clown other people the way we clown ourselves. My point of view has always been, look, if people want to participate in our culture, they got to participate all the way. And that means when they step out of line, let's talk about them the same way we talk about another Black American. Look, people always want to come up in our culture, and this is the part, going back to what James Small said. Brother Smalls was talking about how like I'm pretty sure a lot of what Mr. Smalls had to say was centered around what a lot of African trolls have probably told him, and him getting information from these other people, and him repeating what he's heard. You know how Tariq can talk how he talks, but it is what it is. People want to participate when it's good. You could take being called musty when you call us lazy. You call me lazy, Tariq call you musty. It's water under the bridge. Keep going. We have our own culture that we need to celebrate. Appreciate the super chat, Mogul Mays. Super chat says TikTok would be an excellent lane because you have a lot of knowledge about music and history. You're right. I'm gonna start doing some lives. I've been saying to do lives on TikTok for a year. I'm gonna finally do it. I'm gonna finally start doing it. I'm gonna finally start doing some TikTok, because I got clips on TikTok that be going everywhere where I clip up my shows where I talk about music. But I'm gonna start doing some more TikTok. On the Cash App, Sandra, I appreciate the Cash App, Sandra. Ebony, appreciate the Cash App. James, I appreciate the Cash App. You're going to hit the Cash App, $ the 1B1. See, now let's get into it. Let's go even further into it. Let's go deeper into it. Tariq, the thing that where Tariq wins, that no matter what people say against FBA, is the pointing out to where our culture is. You dig what I'm saying? And our culture is very strong. And it's right. Our culture's been like this the whole time. You ever have something that's on your nose? You can't see what's on your nose. It's just there. You need somebody else to be like, hey, some on your nose. And you be like, oh shit, let me go clean it up. This is where our culture's been the whole time. But we've been told we don't have a culture. We've been told look to Africa. So we looking over there. We looking over there. We looking down here. We looking over here. We looking everywhere but in the mirror. And what FBA, DOAS, NBA, whatever you want to call it, what it did was it just told us to look in the mirror. So you can get mad at Tariq all you want. Once I started looking in the mirror and I saw something extremely familiar, you can't stop me from looking in this mirror, no matter what you say about Africa. I've been looking at Africa since the 90s. I've been looking towards Africa since X-Clan told me to in 92. To the east, my brother, to the east. I've been looking at Africa since then. Swear to God. When that shit dropped, to the east, my brother, to the east. I've been looking to the east. I studied the Dogon. I studied the Songhai Empire. I studied the third dynasty in Imhotep. I studied the 18th dynasty, Queen T. Akhenaten, Nefertiti. We studied all that shit, man. We love Dr. Ben. We love Dr. Clark. We love Sheikh Anta Diop. We did study that. Then I started studying home a little bit more. And when I went through all my African studies, I started studying home a little bit deeper. And when I started studying home, that message started resonating with me a little bit more. I study it all. And I still love Africa. I don't have no issues with Africa. I got an issue with being called a Kata, but I ain't got an issue with Africa. I started studying my music a little bit deeper. This book here, this shit cost me a lot of money when I got it, because it might be somewhere out there, but when I got it, it was very few of these in print. It cost me a lot of money to get this and study our music in the 1800s and the 1900s and the 1700s. And when I started studying here, it just started making more sense. I need my people from the diaspora to understand this movement isn't about Tariq. It's about a lot of us that just started to study home. And that story just started speaking to us. I would be in meditation and prayer, and I kid you not, it was through meditation and prayer that I even found this fucking book, man. I was doing my tree. I did most of this tree off memory because I've been studying music my whole life, not even knowing I would get to this point. I did 80% of this tree off memory. Okay, yeah. Okay, out of this, I could teach you this shit off the top of my head, but I had to make sure I was right. So in meditation, I had to I was like, I'm looking for a book, and this shit popped up. It cost me more money than I had play this. I had a choice between paying the bill on time and buying this book, and I bought that book. That's where my money was at that time, so I could be accurate with what I was doing. And this story started to germinate and reverberate within me more. So what's going on with FBA ain't some shit that Tariq instructed us to do. Our ancestors are calling us, yo. The ancestors here. Speaking of ancestors, man, I was at a show last night. They talking about, you talk about what black folks are doing right now, man. Shit. But that was Corey Henry. That was at Blue Note 2 weeks ago. I was at Blue Note again last night. And we black folks, these brothers out of Houston. And listen to this. Black Dynamite on drums. These brothers are bringing the music of the ancestors. We as black people, we have our own ancestors here in America. We have our own way we make music together that's independent of Jamaica. It's independent of Nigeria. It's independent of Mexico. It's independent of the Virgin Islands. It's independent of Europe. We created these instruments and we created these sounds. And us tapping back into this should not be offensive to you. Take a listen to these brothers last night. This brother on drums, Black Dynamite, and listen to them sing and play. This is my music. This is my culture right here. This is my culture. These niggas is playing. See right here? Us getting in. See, I've been studying music my whole life, and I was always told the drums are African, drums are African, drums are African. And then one day I asked myself, okay, I've never seen these drums in Africa. Where do these drums come from? Then I found out that foot pedal you see down there was invented here in America, that hi-hat. And then you see that attack stack cymbal. Do y'all see that bent cymbal in the middle? That's the newest innovation on the drums. It sounds a lot like a keyboard clap. That snare drum you see, where you hitting on the pop, that's not African, that's American. Those tom-toms, those are indigenous. That's not African, it's American. That attack stack right there, that bent cymbal, that was invented by a brother named Trevor Lawrence, a black American. Invented that. And that's been the most important invention in drum sounds, on the acoustic drums of the century. That cymbal you see twirling down, that's the Chris Dave. Listen to this. Those xylophones, the xylophones aren't African. The vibes, those are American. The keyboard, that's European. But I'm sorry, the keyboard itself is American. The drums are, the piano's European. Listen to this shit. Y'all see this? We got our own culture here. We have our own culture as black Americans. And it's bigger than hip hop. That's enough. But I played that to show, look, we got our own culture. And so when we got the notion to look towards our own culture, we found it's bigger than hip hop. It's bigger than Nino Brown. And there's so much that we got to go back and unpack here. We got to go back for those of you who are chefs. Y'all got to go back and unpack the foods we invented and created. For those of you who dance, they going back to the dances that we created and invented here. For those of you who are engineers, y'all going back to our engineering marvels and feats that we created. Every black person that's into something as an expert or deep into something, we're going back here in America and finding us. So when you do that, you don't take as kindly to people coming over disrespecting you. You don't take as kindly to people having Nigerian Day Fest, but when it comes to them getting affirmative action or minority benefit programs, it's all of our minority benefit program, but you get to have your day. Hell no. Either we in this together or we not. And too many people have been showing us that they're not in it with us. Fine. That's okay. You're not in it with us? Cool. Because we got a whole lot of shit to look up and a whole lot of stuff. I appreciate the Cash App. So what I'm going to do is, we got a whole lot of stuff to look into. So I want to hear what some of y'all think. I'm opening the phone lines. 323-388-3315. This is what I still have respect for Dr. Smalls. You guys can feel however you want to feel about it. I'm not leading you guys to any conclusions, any way to think, any way to view it. You view it the way you still view it. You know, I don't like what he said, but I still got respect for him. The same way, like I said before, I like, there's a lot of shit that Judge Joe Brown has been saying lately that last 2 years, I've been like, Judge, what? But I still love Judge Joe Brown. It ain't gonna take away to me what he's laid down. You know, people have their own reasons for doing what they do. And I understand Mr. Smalls having his reasons. He's 60 years, dyed in the wool, deep in the Pan-African movement. And I respect him for staying in the movement. You know, I'm no longer Pan-African like that. But I can't tell the next man what to be or what not to be. Mr. Smalls has to do what's on his heart to do. Captain Tazariot has to do what's on his heart to do. And so does Tariq. Tariq has to do what's on his heart to do.
To accept.
And I respect everybody's point of view. What's up, caller? What's the name? Where you calling from?
It's Dana.
What's up, Dana? How's it going?
Calling from Pasadena, sorry.
Oh, yeah. What's up?
It's going pretty good. I just wanted to give my opinion on your topic for today. And it's unfortunate that we got to this place. But as I speak in reparation spaces, we're fighting for our autonomy. We're saying we're these people. We're these Americans. And I listened to Professor James Smalls. Was that his name?
James Smalls, yeah.
Okay, I listened to him and I listened to a little bit of Tariq's Twitter space. And this is where it's come to. Where we're fighting for our autonomy. We're saying that we're these people, we're these Americans, we're these freedmen. And we don't want to go back to Africa. We're not interested in Africa.
Not at all.
I believe the African Union has come in and they want in on our reparations claims. So all of the reparations task force that are around the country, excluding the one in California, are now bringing in other people. It's, anybody enslaved or anybody, but it includes all the Africans. So what it does is waters down our justice claim, and we're lineage specific.
And Dana, I'm glad you called in, Dana. For those of you who don't know, this is Dana Dorsey. She's been very much so on the front line of our California reparations movement, to the point to where last year when Isaac Bryan and those punk ass Black Caucus folks wanted to stop the bill from going to Gavin Newsom's office, Miss Dana on the phone She dropped what she did was doing her Friday, and they drove up 7 hour drive to Sacramento to the governor's office. That's how dyed in the wool, true blue this is to it. And give me 1 second, Dana, and I'm gonna get right back to you.
No problem.
What I know people are saying, well, Mr. Smalls has been around for a long time. He comes from area, or he comes from a bunch of era where a lot of stuff went on. That's true. But like Mr. Neely Fuller says, white supremacy consistently refines itself. The battlefield has changed, and we're dealing with something different that they didn't deal with in the 70s and the 80s. What we're dealing with now are people from other countries coming through, and they are in our political movements. This isn't just you call me a Jareer. That's fine. I can call you a camel nut sniffer, and I'll get more laughs than you, and it's over with. What we have going on right now are people infiltrating our politics. And when it comes to reparations, when you use, we already dealt with in the 60s. So you got to remember the 60s generation is also the generation that allowed the term minority to replace Negro when it came to civil rights legislation. And them allowing minority to replace Negro is what allowed white women to get more from civil rights legislation than us. That's what allowed all these foreign immigrants who do not like us, allowed them to get, because that generation was on a paying everybody, and look what it's done to their grandchildren. It's left it to where their grandchildren get nothing. So the battlefield has changed, and Dana is somebody that's out on that battlefield, and she's seeing how this is going, and how shook California was when we made it lineage based. What we're seeing is when we go back to lineage, that's the one thing that makes everyone else say, "Hold on now." As long as we talk, we pay attention. As long as we talking about everybody, if your enemy is okay with you talking about everybody, that means something ain't right. But go ahead, Dana, because and keep going. Because I'm thanking you for giving the information about how what's going on with other states. But go ahead.
No, no problem. Shout out to Brooke and U.S. Freedmen Project in New York for the work they do. Africa Town Coalition here in Leimert Park for staying on Isaac Bryan's head. But with all respect to Professor Smalls, this isn't the 60s or the 70s. I understand that you have a lot invested in Africa, and that is our place of origin. But like all of us know, we've been through an ethnogenesis, and we're here. We're here in America, and we're fighting for what's ours here, like every other culture gets. And so we can't make ourselves small or envelop ourselves in other people and wait for ours because we're suffering. We're here. We're suffering, and we're not going to make it. We're not going to make it if we don't stand up for what is right in our justice claim. So, shout out to Tariq for, keep the conversation going. And it doesn't matter what we're called, FBA, descendants, it doesn't matter at this point. What matters is that we get on one page or one accord about this justice claim and what we deserve and what belongs to us and what belongs to our ancestors. We saw Mother Fletcher pass yesterday, and I became somber at that because I was depending on Tulsa leading the way in this reparations fight. I wanted them to get their justice claim and compensation, and then for the rest of us to be able to walk in that door. And now that's not going to happen. Mother Randall is the only one left. She's holding on, but she's 111.
And think about
And
that.
so,
This is why the FBA, this whole fight, like I said, you guys can call it whatever you want. You know what I mean? We were known as Negro. We were known as, it was still the same people. Give me my money. Miss Viola, she lived through died at 111 years old. That means before she saw, when by the time she was, who was it? She was born in 1914. So that means she was in her damn 40s and 50s by the time she saw immigrants coming in from India and China and all these other countries getting what she couldn't get. You know what I mean? You got to think about that when civil rights legislation happened. 66. And if she was born in 1914, that means she was already 50 when she saw white women. Think about how she had to grow up seeing her hometown get burned down, but she saw white women get benefits before her own people over a term called minority. And we got somebody from that generation that allowed that to happen, telling us that we wrong. We saw.
I could take it further.
Go
I could
ahead.
take it further, Dewan. She worked in homes of white women and saw what happened to her family. To be able to grow up in that from 7 years old, be told amongst the Black people that survived that you are not to speak about Tulsa and what happened here. So the next generation is ignorant to the fact that that whole town was burned over a lie, and then to have to go work in the homes of white women, but to say to yourself from 7, I will vindicate what happened to my family and the families around me until my dying breath. She was 104 in front of Congress and saying, this is what happened to us.
Wow,
And people want to
104.
talk about, I'm tired, I can't do this anymore, reparations is too heavy. This woman, those 3 people, Mother Randall and her brother, went through all of that. They went through all of that, and they stayed fast until they put them in the ground at 100 and something. Our people usually maybe live to 70 or 80. If that age, these people said, no, you will have to put me in the ground, and I will talk about what happened in Tulsa in 1921.
Yeah, and see,
Now, we were in Tulsa. We were in Tulsa in April for the commemoration of the Tulsa bombing.
and that's the thing about, I think about that. My grandmother was born in 1930 in Tulsa. So she was she was what, 16 when my grandmama was born? And my grandmother grew up not even knowing about what happened because the adults couldn't tell the kids about what happened. My grandmother told me she didn't know about Tulsa until she moved to Dallas. The family moved back to Dallas when she was like 8 or 9. That's when she heard about it. But she couldn't even talk about it. And they went through this, and they saw white women get stuff. They saw Indians. Now they see Africans. They see everybody coming over to get stuff, and she died not getting reparations, not getting restorative justice while watching every other group get some. That's where Black Americans are tired, y'all. That's what those of
And
us who
that's
pay
what we
attention.
have to tell Professor Smalls, that we see you, but brother, you're going to have to step aside, because you're going to either step aside or get ran down, because we're not stopping. We're coming for what belongs to us.
Period. But thanks for giving us a call, Dan. I got some more people calling in.
All right. Sorry about that.
No,
Thank you so
thanks,
much,
thanks for
Dewan.
giving us the information. I'm glad you called in.
All right. Bye.
Yeah, see, Dana got that information. She's on the front lines. Salute to nicey girl Shamika. Her and Sincere Love the God. I told you they did a great podcast on this last 2 weeks. She just sent me this video.
You are always in Africa.
This is a video of talking about here in America. Listen to the video they just sent me. Shamika just sent me with Brother Smalls. This is from back in the day when Sonetta was on the streets.
You got the African Day Parade. You don't see the Africans. You got the festival that be going on in Brooklyn, the band festival, the African festival. Where's the Africans at? When we doing our rallies and our marches, where's the Africans at on your side? Talk to us really about that, man.
See, let me tell you something. We think slavery in America was something. Slavery in Africa is still in force. You talking about deaf, blind, and dumb. Don't confuse you because somebody got on some printed cloth that's printed in Holland or India that you're looking at an African cultural expression. That's not an African cultural expression. That cloth was printed in a European country and then sold to Africans. And they've accepted that as their cloth. You understand what I'm saying? Just that piece. Now, they do speak the language, but they know less about their history than you and I do. So you've got a deaf, blind, dumb, backwards person speaking an African language, coming from the African country, came here to be a parasite on their own people with no respect for themselves as human beings, and then because they speak a language, try to play you off like they got something culturally that you don't have. The most culturally enforced African in the world is the African American. Most of the movements that have changed the world, that allow all ethnic nations to profit, has been our movement. And so we get peed on and played down because these people are so punked out and scared of the white man that they feel because they're scared of the white man, they got to be against us.
Are they our people, brother, or are we our own people now?
No, we got to understand two things. We have a race, and then we have an ethnic place. Ethnically, we African Americans. Just like a guy from Africa, he can say he's African, but there's no country called African. He's either Nigerian, Ghanaian, Malian, or something. That's his ethnic nation. Racially, we are together, but economically, we may well be enemies. And we have to be clear on that. That our economic enemy is just that. And if you deal with your economic enemy like it's your friend, you're going to be the loser at the end of the day. Now, we raised the question of Pan-Africanism in this hemisphere. You know, you had the brothers from Trinidad, and then you had W.B. Du Bois, and we created this phenomena. But Africa has never created a Pan-African movement. You understand? Africa has never really supported a Pan-African movement. We had a couple of people in Nkrumah and Julius Nyerere and Mugabe, but most of Africa never gave a damn about a Pan-Africanism because they're still bogged down in the colonial slavery of European Judeo-Christian indoctrination, which is worse than anything that we've suffered. Worse than anything that we've suffered. The illusion of the clothes and the language make us think we're dealing with somebody that has some African purity culturally and spiritually. You're dealing with a confused, backwards Christian that love Europe more than they love their own ancestors. They would not even use an African word for God. You know, in Ghana, if you talk about being a traditional African, you might get beat down in the street. You understand? You're ostracized on the radio. Movies are made to show African culture as being the devil, while Christian culture is coming in as the savior. This is TV shows and on TV in Nigeria and Ghana every day.
Appreciate the super chat, May Durfee. So that was Dr. Smalls' words back in the day, and I know when his last interview he acknowledged that clip going around, and he talks about the hundreds of dollars he did speak positively of Africa, and I believe he believes in both sides. He believes both's true. He understands the delineation that's going on right now, but at the same time, I also think that I'm also going to give Dr. James Smalls credit. Like I said before, I'm not going to switch up what I said about him. I do believe of all the Pan-Africans, he's one of the few true ones. The fact is, in my opinion, most Pan-Africans are full of shit because they over here in America. They ain't even been to Africa. I believe Dr. Smalls really is he's a true Pan-Africanist. He actually goes to Africa. He had a hotel in Africa, that Sana Lodge. I donated to Dr. Smalls at Sana Lodge a couple different times. I didn't donate no thousands, but I donated a few $100 each time. And he's died in the wool with that. And sometimes when people get to a certain age, that's what they are. Although he knows the opposite is true, although he knows there is all this other stuff going on with Africans, he still feels that in his mind, that in spite of this that's going on, we should all still have a Pan-African mind state. I believe he feels that way. I don't want to shortchange him on that. But regardless of how he feels, we still got to make whatever moves we got to make. What's up, caller? What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hey, what's going on, Dwambi? My name is Alistair, calling from Springfield, Missouri. I'm about 2 hours and 45 minutes away from Tulsa, Oklahoma. And where I live here in Springfield, we had the first racial riots that happened in 1906, going through Pierce City, Missouri, and Joplin, Missouri, and then it ended in Tulsa, Oklahoma in 1921. Okay? So when I hear people sit up there saying we don't need reparations, I'm sorry, but you're my enemy, okay? Because what you're basically doing is that you're basically hiding and ignoring the fact that your own people, I'm talking about some of these coons and everything else, you're hiding and you're basically spitting on your own people's grave and everything else who have died as a result of just being black, okay? My granddad, God rest his soul, was born in 1911, right outside of Tulsa, Oklahoma. He escaped the riot in Tulsa, Oklahoma in 1921 and had to move to Arkansas and everything else. Some of them got relocated to Arkansas and everything else. And some people got relocated here to Missouri because of the riots and everything else. Okay? So anytime I hear people sit up there talking about, oh, we don't need reparations, you don't need all that type of stuff, screw them. You're my enemy. You really are, because there are a lot of people here in this town here in Missouri, from Joplin and all that, and several parts of Missouri. They got relocated from Oklahoma to over here because of the riots and everything else.
It's been a whole lot of that, man. But I got a bunch of calls. Go ahead and wrap up your point, my man, so I get to the other calls.
Yeah, and we need to start delineating, because I resent the fact that people calling us African Americans. Really, we're Black Americans first. So I'm gonna land my plane, brother. So have a nice day.
I'm with you, man. You have a good one, brother. Oh, well, call back. I tried to answer your call in time, man. Call whoever that was calling, call right back, because I tried to. Your phone hung up right when I answered it. But no, like, this is a very complicated thing that's going on right now, and understand this, people. In something that's complicated, there's going to be a lot of mess. You can expect the mess. You can expect there will be subversion. This country wants to maintain its leadership. So you got to be aware. There will be subversion. There will be oppy behavior. Those are the that's just where we live. The ops are always going to be around. But the way I'm going to tell you how I view an op, the ops that I see, the obvious ops. I'm pretty sure there's other ops that are less obvious. I'm going to go with the obvious ops. The obvious ops are Winsome Sears running on being black, saying she's not going to we don't deserve reparations. Kamala Harris running on black, but saying, you think I'm going to do anything to help black people? No. President Obama running on being black, but legislating gay. That's ops to me. People, Isaac Bryan here in LA, he is FBA, but Isaac Bryan going down to Governor Newsom's office last year and giving cover for Newsom for not signing our reparations bills. That's oppy behavior. Those are the obvious ops. The obvious ops are anybody that are standing in the way of us getting what we need to get. I could deal with the other ops later. But the main ops that's fucking with me right now are the ones that are in government wearing my uniform telling us what we not going to get. The obvious ops to me are the singers, the Cardi B's, the Nicki Minaj's, the Drakes, these people who were performing Black American music while doing nothing to push forward the Black American cause and making us look ratchet and untalented while doing so. Those are the obvious ops to me. Not saying that there are not other ops on the ground. I don't know. I don't have an open COINTELPRO to know who's the ops and who's not. But I do know people getting up there in front of the camera saying what we don't deserve, or walking black, but deflecting the energy in everywhere other than black. Those are the obvious ops I got to deal with. Yeah, Wes Moore. That's an op. That damn Wes Moore over in Maryland. That's an op. The other ops, I'll get to them when I get to. I was having a conversation with somebody today. I'm not going to mention who I was having a conversation with because they would hate if I said their name. But we were talking about all this stuff that's going on. And they were asking me a question about the op situation. Who's an op? And know what I told them? I said, look, in my study of history, anywhere Black Americans are trying to do something for Black Americans, ops are all around. They just are. It could be the cameraman. It could be the person it's probably not the person with the mic. It's probably the person that's going around being super helpful. You listen to William O'Neill talk, it's probably the person that's the most helpful. You don't know where these motherfucking snakes are. And in today's world, I got a question. Do they even need ops like they had in the 60s and the 70s? Do you know what our biggest op is? We in the new world, folks. The op is in your pocket. This motherfucker turns on anytime they want to hear what DeJuan Brown is saying when the computer is off and I'm not outside with a microphone in my hand. They got access to my voice still. This is the op. Twitter is the op. YouTube is the op. We say everything we're not having closed door meetings like they were, like the Panthers in 68, folks. We're on YouTube. The op is in the chat. The op is in the room right now, and they're not chatting. It's probably like 15 ops in the room. One is chatting. The other 14 ain't saying shit. They just sitting back and listening and cataloging, hoping that we say something that they can pin us to. This ain't the 60s. Again, that goes back to, I love Mr. Smalls, but we in a new world, brother. This shit don't work like it did back then. Nigga, the op is all around us. If we gonna tell the whole truth. That's the truth. Somebody said then schedule a closed room meeting. Why in the hell would I want to schedule a closed room meeting for? Why? So I could schedule one and then one of the ops or two of the ops sign up for the meeting and be a part of it? I ain't doing, look, I talk proudly about what I talk about. That's why I talk music history. And my point of view is, look, let's point us towards our greatness in the past and the present now. And you can do, because the revolution will not be televised. The revolution is in the minds of the people. It takes individuals to change things, not a group, not a leader, not an organization. It takes a critical mass of people saying, I will be my own organization. I will be my own group. The op is people calling in. When people call in, be like, "Yeah, man, man. We need to get our guns and pack some heat and shoot." Them niggas is the op. Fuck you doing calling into my show talking about shooting and shit? But I told y'all back in January, 9 of Hearts means the same team is gonna be fighting. And let's break it down from a wise point of view. This fight is good. Because the purpose for internal struggle, internal disruption is for both sides or all sides to throw their point of view into the marketplace of ideas. I like what Mr. Small said, that when he said that we don't need to fight FBA. He said Pan-Africans just need to be stronger in what they're saying. And I agree with Mr. Smalls. These disruptions, these tussles are for everything to be put on the table and for the people to decide. There is no cleaning up anything without fight, without struggle, without going back and forth. Every fight ain't the ops. Some fights just need to happen. You ever had, remember back in high school, you ever had that one person? We just gotta have that fade. We don't agree. We don't talk. We always around each other because we gotta be here at school. You obviously don't respect me, and I for damn sure don't respect you. Nigga, we just need to fight. That's just how it is sometimes. It's no different with anything else. People gonna have to fight it out and let the ideas that come out in the fight, leave it to the people to decide which direction they want to go in with it. No movement, nothing is done without a fight. The United States was built on fight. Alexander Hamilton set up the motherfucking financial institutions, and still he's on the $5 bill, one of them dollar bills, and he still got his ass laid out by Burr. Pow! Andrew Jackson had like more than 100 duels. You can fight and still get shit done. Everything gets done in spite of fights. That's what I want people to understand. Shit gets done in spite of fighting. Fight. This country had a whole goddamn civil war and still here, ain't it? YouTube got these stupid ass. I don't see y'all names right properly in the chat. I see some of y'all talk. I think some of the people talk. I think I know who some of these people are, but it don't have the normal name like it usually does. It has some dumb shit going on, like y'all email addresses. I don't know what the fuck. So if y'all talking and I don't recognize you, then hey, I do see some dudes saying, hold on, let me see this. I do see this. Somebody said there's no such thing as FBA. Hey man, you need to cut them dookie braids out your head, homeboy. Hey, you mean tell me ain't no such thing as FBA? Ain't no such thing as style when it come to you. The fuck is you talking about? You in Florida talking some ain't no such thing as FBA. According to you, ain't no such thing as a good woman because you ain't found one yet, nigga. You said YouTube changes format for chat. Yeah, I'm not able to recognize a lot of y'all. Those of you who have the familiar picture, I'm able to recognize you, but everybody else, I see Larry bitch ass is in here. Larry, I'll punch you in the nose, nigga. Let's go back to the other part about people saying that they don't like how we talk. To those of you saying that you don't like how we talk about people, you gotta check your own people. If you're from another culture and you don't like the way Black Americans are clowning, that means it's on y'all to check y'all people. If y'all check y'all people, we don't need to clown. But part of how we check ourselves, how part of how we check each other, is clowning. That's just how we get down. We're not going to change our nature anymore to accommodate you. Y'all want to say shit, y'all don't want to check your own people, then we going to check them. But our checks come with jokes and all kind of other shit too. We got to have fun and laugh while we take care of business, right? What's up, Carter? What's your name? Where you calling from?
This is Jesse Paris, aka Chain Fruma from
Yes,
Denver,
sir.
Colorado.
Yes, sir. What's on your mind, brother?
Oh man, I got so much to say. Okay, so I had the pleasure of meeting Miss Viola Fletcher's brother, Van Hughes Ellis. I met him right before he died when I was running for mayor of Denver, Colorado. He was a good dude. he shortly passed away shortly after that.
Nice.
So yeah, it's been a long time justice denied. My godmother's actually from Greenwood, Asher, and Pine. She was born a few years after the Tulsa Race Massacre, and she still wanted justice for the victims of the Tulsa Race Massacre. Like they act like it was so long ago, but it really wasn't. And we still have people that's living, at least one person living, Miss Leslie Randall, that's still living. And enough is enough of this Dewan B. We can't keep doing it no more. We've been towing the line for scam Africanism for 60 years. We have not got nothing beneficial for it, meaning foundational Black Americans, Citizen American Child Slavery Freedmen. We haven't got nothing beneficial from it. It's benefited everybody but us, just like the Civil Rights Movement benefited everybody but us by using that term minority. And enough is enough of it. I'm on the front lines here in Denver, Colorado. We have a bullcrap equity study that they're working on. I followed the California reparations very extensively. I actually called in to several of the hearings to get them to change it to lineage based, opposed to just Black people getting reparations. We have to stay on these politicians' helmets. I myself have ran for office 3 times. I ran for city council at large, mayor of Denver, Colorado, and House District 8. We got tethers that's all up in the Congressional Black Caucus. Got tethers in the legislature out here in Colorado. We got this dude named Nagusi. He don't even comb his hair or put lotion on. These people don't represent us, and they need to stop trying to undermine our reparations claim. The reason why we started delineating is because of Dr. Claude Anderson. Dr. Claude Anderson told us about the malign neglect that's been in effect since the 1960s, where they lump us in the broad, ambiguous terms such as people of color, minorities, et cetera, and we're not going for it no more. So if they're not offering us lineage-based policy, then don't waste your time voting for them. It's tangibles, 2025 all the way to 2100.
Yes,
We're in it
sir.
for the long haul. It's going to be a marathon, not a sprint, and the marathon continues like Nipsey would want.
Yes, sir, man. Thanks again for the call. I got to take this other call, man. Thanks again. And if you run for
Yes,
for
sir.
office
Thank
again,
you.
call up. All right, we'll promote you.
Yes, I will.
All
We'll
right,
definitely
man.
do that. Thank you.
Call from.
There we go. What's up, caller? What's your name? Where you calling from?
Hello?
What's up, caller? What's your name? Where you calling from?
What's happening? This Tyrone from where I live in North Carolina right now, Charlotte, North Carolina.
Charlotte, North Carolina. What's on your mind, my brother?
Man, not much, man. First of all, I got to say about that Captain Cesario dude. Yeah, I can't never trust no dude who dressed like a Power Ranger and his mouth looked like a garden rake. You feel me? And for Professor James Small, highly disappointed. Highly disappointed, man.
Yeah, me
And
too.
man, look, man, I'm gonna just have to say the quiet part out loud, man. Man, Africa, as far as Africa, man, they ain't did nothing in the last 3,000 years or something like that, man. Like as far as I'm concerned, they the face of poverty, man. You know what I mean? If to me, over there in Africa and the whole diaspora as a whole, man, to me they almost like the biggest disappointment because there's no way in hell that they have all these resources. They know, without Africa, their minerals and resources run the world. Y'all got it's too many black folks, too many of them over there to let these small, minority groups or these invaders come through and basically, run their whole country. You get what I'm saying? Like it's like so like that's what I say to me, man. They just a big disappointment, man. And it ain't nothing to be proud of in Africa. You know what I mean? And I can admit, before I started really getting heavy on Tariq and like you guys, you and other YouTubers that I listen to, I was on that Pan African stuff at one point. And I'll never forget, I had a guy that I worked with at my job, and I always, he was African, and he used to tell me like, "Oh, y'all Black Americans, y'all don't have no type of culture. Y'all don't got this. Y'all just
We've been
baby
hearing that for a
mamas,
long
baby daddies."
time.
Right. And I'm mind you, this is back in like 2018, 2019, and I didn't know no better because I'm thinking like, oh man, they the true Africans. oh, what they got over there, we ain't got that over here because, we've been indoctrinated and, we come from slaves. The white man did this and stripped us of our identity and all kind of stuff like that. So in my mind, listening to him, even though he was down talking me, I'm still in my brain like, oh man, you know what he's saying must be true because they the real Africans. But then as I start, getting up on my game and I'm learning, like, man, hold on, man. Like, y'all ain't got nothing popping over there yourselves. You know what I
Yeah,
mean?
man.
Like,
I
y'all, like,
I
I
gotta take it.
remember.
I gotta take this other call coming through, my man. But just go ahead and finish your point.
Okay. Well, pretty much that's just my point. Now they just they the face of disappointment. We the face of empowerment, and we up right now. They the face that they just people to be ashamed of or whatnot.
Yes,
I
sir, my
land right
man.
there.
Thanks for giving us a call. Yes, it's been. I'm not gonna necessarily. And if you feel that way, you're entitled to feel that way. I'm not gonna necessarily call them a face of disappointment. My thing is they had the Songhai Empire going on. They had a lot. They were still going. They had the Benin Empire still going off in the early 1800s. They could have came in. It was Africa was strong enough to come help us out in 1810. That was before the Europeans penetrated them. They were strong enough to come help us out, but they didn't. So I ain't got nothing to celebrate. All right, just get what you get, then I'll be down. All right. So yeah, but if you feel that way, VGQ, like Needy Fuller says. Yeah, to the Hebrews, that'd be like, hey, yeah, we all Hebrews. No, just speak for yourself, nigga. You very well might be a Hebrew. I don't know. I can't tell you what you not, but you don't tell me what nigga, and stop it. This world is a very diverse, complicated place. It's hard enough to find out who the fuck you are. Don't tell me who the hell I am. I just know that when it comes to FBA, ADOS, whatever you want to call it, all of us were on this land during the time of slavery. That's very simple. Native Black American, whatever you want to identify yourself, if you're on the side of the train tracks, if your family lineage descends to America during the time of slavery, that's what you are. That's why the identification is. Again, if both sides of your family or one side, if only one side, then you're half. But if both sides can go back to the 1870, 1880 census during the time of slavery, that's it. Now, before that, you probably could have been a Hebrew. Before that, you probably could have been a Moor. You could have been Potawatomi. You could have been Watusi. I don't know the fuck. But if you feel you was Hebrew, then you was Hebrew. That's cool with me. I ain't gonna turn about what you feel the fuck you want to feel. So that's the thing, you know what I mean? And the disrespect, like it's the cultural disrespect. And we need people from the diaspora. When y'all see people saying hip hop is Jamaican, if you speak up, we wouldn't have to. If y'all from the diaspora hear people say that Black Americans have no culture, you speak up and we don't have to. If you hear Black Americans say, if you people from other cultures say, hey, the Black Americans, you guys are just lazy and you don't want to work hard. If you hear people say that, then you step up and say something. And we won't. It's really that simple. Each one check one. Check yourself before you wreck yourself. It is that simple. When you see people disrespecting us, you speak up and you check them. You don't check us for speaking up for ourselves. You're out of line when you do that, especially when you know how other people speak on us. Speak on them or leave it alone. Because if you speak on me, you know what I'm going to think? I'm going to think, oh, you must just think I'm a bitch. That's what I'm going to think. You done seen somebody swipe, 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 and I swipe back, and you come to me? Then what do you really think about me? If you think I'm supposed to just sit here and take abuse, what do you really think about me? If you think that I shouldn't defend myself, what do you really think? Because if you think it's okay for them to say I have no culture, but you think it's bad when I defend myself, that means you probably agree with them that I have no culture. Did I just say that? You did. You did. That's what it comes down to. Again, and I still respect Dr. Smalls. I can respect you when you still wrong. Now, Tariq made on his show, Tariq said that he's probably going to take Dr. Smalls out of the museum. And, that's his museum. And, we have a lot of heroes to honor. So I don't have anything to say on that. I can't tell Tariq how to run his museum. I don't have any words on that. If he decided that's what he needs to do, then that's what he needs to do. Tariq said that he's going to pull him out of Hidden Colors 5. And if that's what Tariq feels he needs to do for his film, then that's what he needs to do. I can't police that man. But I will say that we are having a comedy show at the museum December 20th. I got Faison Love, Buddy Lewis, Kanisha Bus, K Dot. Y'all may know K Dot from the All Deaf Digital sketches. And my man Antoine Young. This December 20th, Christmas time comedy show. You dig? But my wife is here, just finished grocery shopping. I got to help her out, bring that stuff up. And we might do a late night live tonight. Well, I just got my PlayStation 5. I don't know if I'm gonna talk to you niggas tonight. Maybe when I get bored playing Madden. I ain't played Madden in 3 years. I gotta figure this shit out. I ain't played Madden in 3 years. I'm about to be online kicking, probably getting my ass kicked. But then I'm gonna figure it out, then go back to kicking some ass. All right. Oh, that's King Simon up in here. King Simon? Salute to King Simon, man. I didn't see you up in here. Salute to King Simon. That's King Simon. See, I ain't been. I don't. They done changed the names in here. I don't know who the hell is who. I know that's Jay Jimerson. Salute to you, Jay Jimerson. I know that's you. Spirit Wonder Lady Hotep. What's up, Nene? Bismarck T. Wreak Havoc. Yeah, King Simon up in here. Salute to you, King Simon. Much love to you, brother. Kenneth Berry, I got NCAA. I've never bought it. The last time I bought NCAA football was when it was Bill Walsh football 95. Bill Walsh 95 was the last time I bought college football. Before I started my live, I bought the Madden and college football package, deluxe package together. So I got college football too. I bought that shit so it could download. So when I'm done talking to y'all monkey asses, I can get it in. All right. But thank y'all again for listening. Now, I ain't taking no more calls. I got to help bring these groceries upstairs. Y'all have a good one. We out. But again, much love and respect to everybody. You guys take away whatever your takeaway is. I'm not here to influence your decision on how you view it. I'm not here to take sides. I don't like what Mr. Small said, but I still got love and respect for him. You know what I mean? I thought that Tariq did a great job, a very respectful job replying. I thought that Jason Black did a good job breaking it down. But I got to give salute to Nicey Girl and Sincere Love to God. They're the first two that I saw bring this up. And they made two very special, really good broadcasts on this. And salute to everybody that's been covering this. You take from this whatever you take from it. You got to own your own decisions. You have to own your own point of view. My point of view is this is nasty, it's dirty, but like I started the year off, this is very necessary. This is very necessary. Teammates fight. Teammates have disagreements. But it's within the disagreements, when the information is put out there, it's everyone else's decisions, it's everyone else's responsibility to find out where the truth lies for them, for you, and for yourself. And if you want to continue to be Pan-African, then please, by all means, continue to be Pan-African. I ain't going to say nothing about you. That's your choice. If you choose to come bring this all inside and be FBA grounded, I'm cool with that too. It's all about what you want. If you choose to be a Hebrew Israelite, then make sure. My only thing is, if you choose to be a Hebrew Israelite, my only thing is learn how to read better if you're going to be on a megaphone. Don't be that Hebrew Israelite that be stuttering. And God said, in Deuteronomy 15, that the heavens in the ocean. Like, God damn, nigga. That's my only thing. Be a Hebrew Israelite, I ain't tripping. But if you're going to beat the nigga on the megaphone in the Bible, learn how to read without stuttering. That's my only thing I say. All right? Read! Y'all have a good one. I'm out.